right.
Great, we're recording.
Boring dead air. Why are you not working share screen?
I hate dead air. Come on, let's go. Come on, we can do it.
Why are
The
you
only
not
thing worse
sharing
than
with
dead air.
I know. Why are you not sharing with sound? I hate this new layout on Zoom. It's
There's
annoying.
a lot of buttons.
I have to open like an extra window to share with sound.
There's a lot of buttons.
Stupid.
There are a lot of buttons.
So many buttons.
Hey, Chris, you know what's worse than dead air?
What's that?
Mental talking.
Okay, that was pretty good.
Bring me everyone. What do you mean, everyone?
Welcome to Everyone Racers,
A show designed for the world of low-dollar racing
An oddball car culture.
It doesn't matter what kind of limit champ,
or lucky track dog league you run,
SCCA or NASA.
we don't discriminate.
as long as you drive it hard,
You built it yourself.
Join us each week
tech discussions,
Tips, tricks, as well as news and notes.
from the world of amateur endurance racing.
whether it's on the spot, hella sweet,
Or we're lucky enough.
And Chrissy,
And Chrissy,
I give you just the tip
for sure you'll giggle a little.
and learn even less.
everyone report to the pad.
This is Chris.
This is Chrissy.
Mental.
And we are Everyone Racers. Welcome to a Dodge episode of our podcast. It's episode 340. The Dodge 340, introduced in 1967 for the 275 horsepower version of the V8, featured high flow heads, big ports, a 2-level intake manifold, a forged steel crank, and a 6-barrel option, which was 3 2-barrel carbs. Combining high power and relatively light weight, it was a fine option in the Plymouth Duster and Roadrunner. Still no bingo card, though.
Wow.
Make your own up. Send us suggestions. Whatever.
Right?
Okay.
Wouldn't that be great? I wish they were doing that.
Maybe we should just come up with an entirely new game.
We need to
You know, maybe
crowdsource
bingo's
the
played.
bingo.
Oh, yeah. We
Okay.
could come up with a new game.
Chess. No.
How does one do that?
Twister.
Backgammon.
E1R Twister. So you listen to the show, and every time you reference something,
Oh.
it's right hand on blue square.
I mean, that's a commitment for people to do that. It really
And
is.
depending on how long the show is, you might get really tired.
Hard to do while driving.
And a lot of people listen to it at
Impossible,
work.
actually,
It's awesome.
yes.
Yeah, great. It'd be awesome. It'll be fun.
Oh,
So-
anyway. What you working on? Mental.
So spent last weekend in California. Thursday and Friday went to Sierra College, the motorsports club. Actually got a whole tour of a lot of their industrial training that they do there. It is a really impressive program, not just their welding and all the other stuff. They're doing automation. They're training people to work at Amazon and Google, and really it's a lot of very next level makerspace type stuff. Had a great time. Friday, Thunderhill Raceway had provided their West track to them at an extreme discount. So Corey Dickman, me, Jem Quezadera, and Renee Lamb of EU Tech went out there. We were giving some of the kids thrill rides. We were teaching them about the line. We were working on some of the flags, and 5 kids said they didn't know how to drive a stick shift. 2 of them really absolutely did. They just didn't believe they did. And 1 and a 2.5 more. So we spent a lot of time in my Milano learning to build their confidence. And we got all of them actually in the race car by the end of the day. So that was a very rewarding program. And then I spent Friday night at Tim's house, which was awesome. And we watched the sprint race.
That was good.
And yeah,
Sprint
it
race
was.
pretty good.
Sprint race was pretty good. And then
Sprint quali was good.
Yeah. I spent Saturday and Sunday working on with Jeff Gates at the Driven Garage, working on the latest soon to be premiered Sorry for Party race car. No one will be shocked. Everyone will be amazed.
It's going to be pretty good.
It really is.
I'm excited about it.
What about you, Chrissy?
We tried to clean up after the race. I had some library fundraisers. I had 2 in in one day, we had a yard sale in our building, and then I went and did an event somewhere that gave us some money for our organization. I'll just say that it's a kind of convoluted thing. But it was a long day. I got home at 11 o'clock ish. So, and then we went junkyarding. So, Chris, why don't you tell us about what you've been doing, and we'll talk about junkyarding.
I've been dismantling the Mazda, figure out exactly what's wrong, and getting it all together and uh, cleaning it. Because when a car is really far apart, it's really nice to pressure wash it, and it's very satisfying, especially after how many times that car's leaked oil everywhere. So have the whole front of the engine exposed and really soak it in simple green and spray it down. That's nice. I Once I've run out of parts for that we're waiting for, I turned back to the MG, which is great. I got in the Lotus position under the dash and wrapped up some wires and loomed them up and zip tied them up and got them all out of the way.
Everybody's
Fixed.
favorite position.
Right. What a better place to do it than a British car. Fortunately, I could do it on the passenger side, so I didn't have pedals or a steering wheel in my way, but that's all right. Got that done.
Fresh carpet, though. You have fresh carpet.
Fresh carpet everywhere. The interior is really looking pretty nice these days.
Well, if you have to be in the Lotus position, at least if you have some fresh carpet, that's not so bad.
And the seat's out, so even more room there too.
See, why are you complaining?
I'm not complaining. I said it was pretty nice for the Lotus position, actually.
Okay.
Dropped the fuel tank. Had to clean that up a lot. It had all kinds of this adhesive residue stuff over where the tank straps had been did not come off easily, and did some rust converter on that and other parts of the car, and scraping rusty crap off of things and figuring out wires that have been painted over the years. All kinds of fun old car stuff, which is great. But progress is being made. I also took the side curtains apart because they were most of the attachments to the side curtains, like how it holds us out to the car, only had like one bolt still holding them on, or they were loose and whatever. I haven't used them in years, but I actually replaced a bunch of the bolts and cleaned them up and got those good to go. And lastly, I've found what I think is a solution to the problem we were having with the outboard engine on the boat. Last year at low speeds, it would stumble at low speeds. And I also noticed that it was leaking oil, and I thought it was initially just residue, and I'd cleaned it all out, but then it kept leaking, and now it's leaking sitting in the garage over the winter. It's leaking. So obviously there's a leak of the two-stroke oil, and it's raw two-stroke oil, and it's all oil injected. So I think, all right, hang on. It's a two-stroke. The oil goes into the combustion chambers. So does the air. That's unmetered air not going through the fuel injection system. If it's leaking, that could be causing rough running at low speeds when it doesn't have that much room or that much air. So ordered a whole new set of oil lines to replace all the oil lines in the whole motor. We're going to see how that works. So that's that. And that's that smooth voice you've heard in the background is someone you all know. You all love.
Hear it. Do you
he talked. He did.
A little bit.
It is the one, the only Tim Burr from Sorry for Party Racing. Tim, thanks for joining us.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for having me on. It's always fun to be a guest on the show.
Excellent. What have you been working on, Tim?
Well, I've got my Solstice, the 2.0 Solstice, known as the TWAP, the Turbo Wet Ass Pontiac. We're working on a big brake kit upgrade for that. So we've got C6 Corvette Z51 calipers and rotors on the front, which required a custom adapter bracket to get the Corvette hub to work with the spindle on the Solstice. And so we've got that worked. We did one test day with that at Laguna. Now the rears have been produced and are being FedExed to my house as we speak. So hope to get those bolted on. If they come tomorrow, I'll bring it to the track Friday. I'm going to Thunder Hill Friday to coach with Hooked on Driving, which is supposed to be rainy, which will be super interesting. But the brake upgrade in that car is required because it is fast with the turbo. So it should be a lot of fun. And we made it big enough to fit luxury mammals and small enough to fit small humans as well with the slider. So it should
small
be
mammals and big mammals.
Yeah, all mammals are included in the process. I'm still working on my Corvette. the engine that's been torn apart for over a year now, but all I need to do is put fluids in it, and then I can get it going. So battery's charged, the motor's back together, all the coolant lines and oil lines and everything are hooked up. So we're real close on that.
Hey, just because I know you talked about that Corvette a couple of years ago, but I think when you and Matt were on here last, we just mentioned it in passing. Tell everybody also about your, I won't use Matt's descriptive words, but your beast of a vet.
So it is a 2008 Corvette Z51. It's the first year of the LS3. And I bought it from a guy, original owner. Car had 80,000 miles on it and was spotless. He put a aftermarket supercharger on it, so the car's making just about 600 at the rear wheels. Had it out at a track day. Car, I think, ran a little lean, cracked the top of the number 7 piston because boost and heat don't go well together. So I decided to do a full motor teardown and put all new bearings in it, forged internal bits, all the goodies to put it back together to make it last. The car as it is built now, if somebody wanted to, and that person is not me, but they could turn that thing up to about 850 horsepower and it would do fine. So
the rumor or the sounds that supercharged engine make have been, related to everything from giant apex predators to, heavy metal songs. It's and all of it pleasant.
I let Pantless Matt drive it and before it broke, and he took it out on the highway and he goes, "I've never had a car try to kill me, and I was so excited about it."
Wow.
I mean, it'll light the tires up in third gear at like 55, 60 miles an hour. It's a monster.
Okay.
So
Nice.
very fun. It will not see the track again. It's I don't need to go that fast. I'm okay with lemons. It's perfect.
Although that does sound like a good car to use for like a standing mile kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like,
Yep.
that could be fun.
Yeah, it's
Work-
good.
Work, work your way over to Bonneville.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll just salt it right down. It'll be fine.
Yeah, that's good. Good for it.
We've got an open road race here in Nevada. The Big Bend Open Road. Yeah, it's just I think it's a 2-mile track. You get a mile to get up to speed. You hit the traps, then off you go.
Now that sounds like a party.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Run by the Corvette Club. So
Perfect.
Excellent.
All right.
All right.
Ready? News
Now, we do enjoy the development goof of driverless taxis, and this MotorTrend article from Justin Banner is no exception. It would appear that the Jaguar I-Pace-based Waymo taxis that are now being tested in Phoenix can be fooled by a t-shirt. On the Instagram account of Jason B. Carr is a collection of videos showing him fooling the robo fleet in 4 separate scenarios with a stop sign printed in the correct size and shape on his shirt. However, in the 4th test at night, a taxi was preparing to turn left. I'm sorry. One exception was the nighttime scenario where the Jag didn't see the shirt, but in a 4th test, a taxi was preparing to turn left, saw the shirt, and then held the stop until the wearer walked off. And the prevailing theory on that one is that the Waymo programming sees the shirt as one of those lollipop construction signs and was waiting for the command of the turner or holder to turn the sign, which in every one of those cases, if I am honest, is way better than every human cab driver I've had here in Las Vegas.
Yep.
Better than running people over. So yeah, it's interesting theory. And people have just nothing else to do. That's what it comes down to. Which is fine.
It's impressive it thought about the lollipop aspect of it and had a separate programming for that. That's really interesting, actually.
I want to see what happened to lead to them coming up with that programming when it didn't know what to do. Oh no. Yeah.
Okay, we got this last tip from the Git crew. Just haven't gotten to it. With the new EU cybersecurity regulations, Porsche will be ending the sale of the 718 Boxster and the Cayman models in Europe. The redevelopment of a new compliant operating system will cost too much, and with an electric successor waiting to come online, it was cheaper to pull the plug. No worries, you can still get one here and in England. Thanks, Brexit. Jared Neves at Carbuzz tells us that GT4 RS and the Boxster RS Spider will be spared as they are exempt from the new rules because Porsche builds them in limited numbers. However, updating the more mainstream models, which also includes the Macan, also no longer available in Europe, which cost almost half as much as the development budget for the new Boxster EV.
Okay.
Yep.
Ronnie Schreiber at Haggerty also has some more on Euro shenanigans. The upcoming Stellantis all-new Polish-built EV cannot, by Italian law, be called the Milano. Why? A 2003 consumer protection law makes it illegal to give misleading indicators of the geographical origin of products. In fact, Italy has even taken the issue of, quote, Italian sounding, end quote, to the regulators of the European Union. As a result of public pressure over that law from the Ministry of Economic Development and made in Italy, and yes, that's the ministry's real name. Stellantis has announced that its all-new Polish-built EV will be renamed the Junior, presumably because the Alfa Romeo boppity boopity just didn't focus group all that well.
Oh, the Junior.
The Junior, really?
That's so cute.
All the things they could call it.
The Junior boppity boopity would be even better.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, you could just call it some kind of, I don't know, Italian.
Don't they
so I
have
don't-
some other kind of female name starting with a G, like they have the Julia, like, they do the Giulietto or the, I don't know, some other thing.
Oh, the
like that. I don't know.
Giulietta. That would be like the Junior Julie.
Right.
Yeah. Why? That's dumb.
I don't know. Or there's other mountain passes aside from Stelvio, whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. No,
That's
absolutely. Speaking of dumb, I love this.
I don't know if I love this. Anybody
I mean,
want
it's dumb. It's definitely dumb.
dumb. Cheap, interesting drag car that might kill you. I'm pretty sure we all want that. This 160 inch wheelbase front engine dragster is on Racing Junk for only $8,500. I happened to be perusing and I was like, what kind of cheap cars are out there? Just something that you just might want to die from. 160 inches long, has a chromely chassis with a 19-inch cage with chrome drapped axle, 6-point cage, 2 sets of wheelie bars, 2-gallon tank, 5-gallon tank not pictured, and front wing, BBC, and SBC plates. Motor is a 6.0 LS LQ4 from a 2002 Chevy pickup. 799 cylinder heads, BTR 660 springs and retainers, Summit 8709 cam, single plane. This is why you don't care. It's gonna kill you.
Why would
It's
you
really
put a
gonna-
carb on this? Just why not let it run fuel injection? Like we're good at fuel injection now. People figured that out for LSs.
It might be required because this does look like it runs a nostalgia class because it is a slingshot body style thing where you're sitting on the differential.
Yeah. Yeah, sure is.
Carburetors smell better.
oh
I
yeah.
mean, you can smell all of it because it's all sitting right in front of you. That's great.
It is terrifying. I was like,
Yeah.
people should not be able to buy something like that. So
Oh, they
No.
totally should because this is
If
America
you-
and I pay my taxes.
if you have $8,500, that can be. I didn't see where it was from, but don't buy it.
And
because
you
might
want to die.
So yeah, don't do that. But Racing Junk can tell you all the fun things that you could get to die. Some of them much more expensive than others.
That's
plenty of
in
things
Caribou,
others.
Maine. That explains a lot. They have long winters,
Oh,
right?
yeah,
And rusty Chevy trucks that
and-
that give up their
yeah.
motors because they're rusted away.
It's still America in Maine.
Sure is.
You know what they should have done while they were in Maine? They should have forked out the $23 for a Racing Junk Pro membership, because I would have loved to have seen all the pictures of that car, because you get 50 photos per ad. You know who's watching your item. You get a dashboard. You can save all your favorite ads. You get rid of some of the commercial stuff. You get a break in their clothing store. You get all kinds of discounts on upgrades, all of this stuff, all from a Racing Junk membership. We had a conversation last week with our new Racing Junk media partner guy, and he loves the phrase RJ Joy Scrolling. That is going to be their new hashtag. So spend a little bit of money. Code POD23 is still good until they send us the new one. They're working on getting the new one out there. Code POD23, get that discounted membership for less than a meal at Applebee's, and do yourself some hashtag Racing Junk Joy Scrolling, because I've never gotten angry scrolling through Racing Junk ever. It's awesome.
I mean, some of the cars that I say, "Ooh, that's a pretty car," and I'm like, "Oh, $200,000. Can't afford that." So that's the only reason why I get upset at Racing Junk.
I have a different reason I get upset at Racing Junk, is because people didn't get the pro membership and there's only one picture of a car.
You're
I want
not
to see
wrong.
more.
Yeah,
That's bothers me.
Seriously, you're selling an $8,500 Dragster and you couldn't fork out $20, man. So, just do it. Just absolutely do
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
People want to learn how they're going to die and be able to see the setup of, how you're going to die.
Honestly, and it's worth it just to, to get rid of some of the banner ads and get early access to some of this stuff. I was telling them,
Agreed.
we've
banner
had
ads.
3 listeners buy stuff that we've featured on Racing Junk. Good cars that have shown up in the paddock, including the Ricky Schroeder Dodge Daytona. I mean, come on. You definitely want early access to stuff like that.
I'll give them a plug too. I listed my aunt's, she's got a 36 Ford Cabrio that I listed on Racing Junk, and they throw you an option to also put it on Haggerty with all the information you already put in. Just click the button, $20 more, and they will post it to another website too. So it was awesome and got twice the views, which was really good.
That's fantastic. All right.
Excellent.
Super. Okay, moving on to upcoming races. Lemons is at the Ridge, one of our favorite tracks. All right, from the Rude himself, could the Chotis become the third car to ever win, complete the Lemons quadrangle of Emulance?
Immaculance.
Immaculance. There's a C in there, isn't there? Thank you.
Ambulance.
Whatever. I didn't know. There's a C. That means IOE, C, B, and A wins. The Lexus is probably going to keep them honest. This is an incredibly effluent field in general, as we would expect from the Pacific Northwest racers. There is a Fiat X19, or X1.
Yep, that's what it is. X19.
Great Dodge Intrepid, a Ford Mustang 2.
I love that Mustang so much.
Onset Volvo PV544 Mark II, mid-engine Jeep Cherokee, a Mitsubishi Butte, a 47 Chevy,
Amazing.
and
It's
some
hilarious.
rookies with a 82 Celica joining the Nacho Friend 85 Celica. Hot damn. Okay, so there are 49 cars registered, 7 of them BMWs. That's great.
Okay.
2 Miatas, 4 Hondas, no Porsches, and all of the cars that I just listed above. So it should be a fantastic race.
I'm jealous of the people who get to judge that, because Nacho Friend always brings great nachos to the judges. Like slow cooked pork over, and like they make them fresh and bring them right to you. It's awesome.
Nachos.
Seriously.
Okay, race.
Lemons was at CMP for the block party. Now, your winner on laps was the Mavrex in that 1970 Ford Mavrette, which is a Maverick on top of a Corvette. It's a great team. They're out of Lick Skillet, Alabama, which there is so much theme potential in living in a place called Lick Skillet. I just want to throw that one out there.
I saw I'm sorry, 1 second. I saw the picture of this because I didn't know Lemons just posted they really are making these very nice pictures with a banner on them at least on Facebook. That's where I got my information. It's a hat car and it's pretty good. It's like kind of convincing, other than the A pillar. It kind of hangs out from where the A pillars don't match up, but I'm impressed. It's a
they run that
car.
thing clean, and it
Yeah.
is. I saw it at NCM last year, and people were like, I don't think that's actually a Maverick. Really, really, you don't think that the car that's in first place by 3 laps is actually a Maverick? Oh, yeah, okay.
Well,
yeah.
they
Why
wouldn't
don't
believe
these-
it if it was a Corvette either, because no Corvette's never done that. So apparently that is the key to success in a Corvette, is make it look like a Ford Maverick. Right.
And none of the, like the body panels like don't line up at all, and it's just pretty beat up. You would think, come on.
Yeah,
God.
yeah.
It's got
Exactly.
two A-pillar lines. If you look close, you can see the
Yeah.
white Corvette.
Oh,
under-
absolutely. That's
underneath the
that's the
Maverick.
only way. I had to like scroll in, and I was like, "Is that? This is a hat car, right?" Like, let's make sure that this is. I was pretty sure,
But it's a well-built, they were in communication with Pagel the entire time. You know
I'm
how all
sure.
that stuff
I'm
goes.
sure.
And they're a great team and they have a lot of fun with it. Your Class B was the Team Super Bros in that 1993 Acura Integra. They're always around Class B. And we know what you say when you win B. Welcome to A. Winner.
Again.
Yeah, again, yeah.
Yeah.
Class C, Loose Nuts Racing 911 and that 2000 Chevy Camaro. And this may have been the first time that they have entered a race and not won Halloween Meets Gasoline. But that's a great team. They always show up with a big bunch of folks. Your IOE was Grits, and that's Garbage Race in the South. I remember that. It's an 82 Datsun 200 SX. It is a legit, that is a just awful car. They race it clean, but I remember seeing that thing at Sebring a couple of years ago. Organizer's Choice, also Loose Nuts Racing in that Camaro, danged old Camaro. And Heroic Fix was Junk Mail Racing in a 91 Subaru Legacy. It's a right-hand drive. It's one of the mail delivery cars that you can special order if you are an actual postal contractor that on that car. And I could, first off, that's how you get Heroic Fix. Start with a Subaru.
You have to brake to get Heroic Fix, so that's important. Right.
Ah.
Judge's Choice went to Chick Magnets in their 1995 Ford Thunderbird. Halloween Meets Gasoline, Idle Clatter Racing in their 92 Subaru Impreza, which is different than their usual variety of Mercedes diesel things. So
It's
done.
still just as beat up and scary looking, according
I'm
to
sure
the
it's Subaru.
pictures.
I Got Screwed went to Duff Beer in their 89 Honda Civic. Magical Thinking Award went to PPR Auto Works in their 89 Prelude.
As always, it
Congratulations
looked like
to all.
looked like a
Heard
fun
it was a little
race.
messy there Sunday morning. It got
Oof.
some good solid rain. When it rains at CMP, it usually rains. Like, it's no joke.
Yeah. That's the one time you don't complain about the sand in the paddock because it doesn't
true.
become mud.
Or you're not offended to be in the bathroom because it's slightly less damp than the outside.
The humidity, yes.
Keeps the poisonous snakes in the lake. It's great. Yeah. It's the other way around.
All of this is just selling people that have never been there.
Can't wait to get
Sounds awesome.
It's and despite all of this, it is actually worth it just for that block party. The pictures were fantastic. If you guys don't know Tim Bagnall, he's a guy that's he does one race. He's got a Volvo down there. He doesn't even drive it, and he was just taking all the pictures. That whole parade is just fantastic every time.
It
This
is.
year, no disappointment.
It looked like a perfect weather too, so you never know. Sometimes it's if it's not, that can ruin things pretty well. So
Yeah.
it looks.
Well, the rain also keeps the fire ants in the ground. That's nice. Good. So many advantages.
Okay.
Great.
Oh, listen. Done.
On the YouTube, Cones and At, which you should all be watching, summed up our previous episode and our theme as, quote, old man yells at cloud.
They did a great job with that. First time I saw Randy hobbling over to me with a cane and his wig with a bag of Werther's Originals. I was like, yep, you got it.
And the logo and the
Oh, yeah.
the effort going up to
It's
the
great.
race.
So great.
They pulled up and blocked the exit to Tech with their senior van, and he canes his way out of the van. It was amazing. I was like, oh, here it goes. And so it begins.
It's gotta be it's gotta be something.
Yeah. They always do a great job.
All right.
You know who also does a great job at
Yep.
making all these cookies for every race? Chrissy's mom.
That's correct. And I'm happy to have this on the YouTube. AJ said around 2 a.m. on Saturday night, Bish and I found a box of Chrissy's mom's peanut butter and jelly bars in the back in the garage. I'm not sure I've ever experienced a more joyful occasion at the racetrack. Please give her our regards. She's a saint. I'm pretty sure I left them there. I think they were back near judging. That's where I left them. They were one of
They move around.
True. I got the container back at the end of the night. That's all that
That's
really
all that matters.
So, yeah,
It's-
pretty much.
It's one of those things where like people see the cookies, they're like, oh, they're all mine. And then they take like a bite of them and it's like the opposite of the Lord of the Rings. They feel compelled to share them. Oh my God, this is so amazing. I must share the precious with everyone. And people
Yeah.
walk around with boxes of your mom's cookies, just
Pretty much true.
trying to bring joy to everyone.
That's why I didn't. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I brought 4 of the Brookies to my dad's house in a Ziploc bag.
Oh,
I was
good,
like,
Excellent.
good.
Dad,
That
you
was
must try these cookies. They're so good.
And there was Brookies are a new recipe, actually. It's funny because she asked me how many. She's like, "What did you put out?" Because she was gonna make a cake. I'm sorry, this is diverging. She's gonna make a cake, and I was like, "Cakes don't travel like this," and then they're a pain in the butt for people to cut and all that stuff. So I said, "Just make some bars, and we'll figure it out." So she's like, "What did you put out?" I said, "Nothing." I was like, "It's currency. I'm not gonna put these out on with general population, other people's." Grocery store cookies. I walked around and said, "Would you like one of this special bar that my mom made with love?" And everybody was like, not really, but I'll take one. Oh my God, this is amazing. That's what happened. So thanks, Mom, for all your cookie
You don't
mastery.
put out Chrissy's mom's cookies.
Correct.
You present Chrissy's mom's
Pretty
cookies.
much true.
Offer.
Thank you, Chrissy's mom.
Yes,
Thank
you're
you.
welcome. I'll send her our regards. Thank you for it was very nice statement. Great. Oh my God. Okay, we're talking about the race. Let's talk about the race.
Yeah. We all had different things going on, especially you, Tim. You saw it from a totally different perspective. That's fantastic. Looking forward to seeing what you had there. Okay, so let's talk about pre-race prep, getting ready, getting there. I know we Mental showed up Monday. We brought the car back to the rental car place and then hung out for the week doing our usual thing. And Mental, you built an amazing set on Wednesday while I was at work.
You presented me with a lovely collection of here is spare material from various projects. And I was prepared to go get something from Home Depot, but I just had like this like stubborn bit of thing stuck in my head of no, I will make this work with what I have. And yes, the idea behind it is something that we could disassemble, throw into the trailer, and it wouldn't be huge and still be instantly recognizable.
And it worked.
It was great.
Worked out
It was
great.
and the fact that we can make it roll, so we can move it around. That was
a
awesome
total
sauce.
Chris invention right there. He went and dug the
but
furniture
your
dolly
bottom,
out of it.
But the bottom was great, and then
It was
that's what we could-
conducive for it, and
That's
was
what
the
I'm
key.
getting at. Thank you,
Yeah.
thank you. Yeah, no, it
Oh,
was-
and I went to I love when I have to go to Joann Fabrics for stuff for a race, and they say, "Oh, so what are you making?" And I was like, "It's a really long story. I don't know if I can tell you that. We don't have time for this."
depends on who it was, and maybe they think it's funny, but probably not.
Probably
That's funny you say because Friday, as we're setting that up, Steinkamp comes because we were initially in his pit, and he comes up and he's like, "Oh my God, you totally bought out Joann Fabrics, didn't you?"
Oh, I didn't think it was
Yep.
that bad, right? Was it?
No, I
No.
had 3 yards of the nice crushed like flannel maroon fabric, and then the little tassels. Then the curtains I got at Walmart, $15. Yeah, great. I guess we should tell people what we did for those who were not there and didn't know.
I missed it from
You
all
missed
of
the fun.
Okay,
But
okay.
we did a Muppet Show reference. You know, the 2 old guys sitting in the balcony who heckle everybody, Statler and Waldorf. That was us. So Metal made this delightful balcony for us to sit behind with little curtains, and it worked out great.
It was amazing. It was so good. It's Kritzler. He said it best. Was a really good theme is one that bumps right up against the edge of annoying, and then just stays on that line all weekend. Perfect theme.
Yep. It's got to have good people have to be involved too. I think that's key.
Yeah. Yep.
Good.
Mhm.
So let's see. We had the car was already pretty well loaded up and loaded up the truck, and wasn't too bad.
Driving
Headed
through,
out.
had some rain, but other
Yeah,
than that, it was.
drive was no big
the
deal.
end of
Got there in
it.
plenty of time.
We did
Pouring rain.
after
Yeah.
you guys were home waiting patiently for me, and we were like, it's gonna take us forever to get there, and there was like,
Well, you
oh,
never know when you're going to run into some stupid traffic at the turnpike or something else is going to go wrong, and then we have
And
to get
everything
coyoted
was
in. No,
under
not that we would do
construction,
that,
and
but
we were getting warnings from
Yeah.
everybody that the weather was going to be garbage.
no,
And it
it's
was.
good. I'm glad we did leave because sometimes I've dragged my feet, so it's fine.
Mhm.
It's
And it
good.
was pouring rain when we got there, absolutely downpouring, which is great to unload
And
and get
cold.
everything set up in the pouring rain. Yeah.
Windy.
And although the
Windy.
garage, totally worth it.
Yes.
Just for that.
Yeah.
I do have this real quick. We'll share that. There we were. That's us.
Yep. As I was sitting in the balconies
And you can see
our-
the how much the curtains behind you are blowing. Your first
Yes.
location was directly in the wind, and you actually were that sad. The faces that you were making was how sad you were. And then I was like, go over there. There's no wind. And you guys were so much happier.
it was so much nicer being in the lee of the building over there. But we did keep warm with our skull cap bald head hair things. Those actually were surprisingly warm, and my corduroy jacket was nice, and it was all good. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we packed up, unloaded, figured out enough, didn't unpack the truck really because it was pouring rain, and crashed. Timmy, how about you? How's your travels?
It was pretty easy. I flew in on Thursday, late. I got it's not easy to get there from the West Coast, so I flew through Boston. Had a layover in Boston. Ended up late on I think it was like 10:30 in Pittsburgh. Eric Root picked me up. We drove through the torrential rains and flooded streets on the way to the hotel. Had a nice time getting to meet all the rest of the staff for the weekend at the hotel, and then went out on Friday and went to gate check-in, which was muddy and rainy and windy and nasty, and luckily I was just like checking wristbands and stuff and not trying to test in that stuff because it was pretty gnarly on Friday.
Yeah. I still felt so bad for people checking us in Thursday night. Like Ken's out there in the rain with his jacket on. Just it's pouring and windy, and he's just doing his thing, not complaining because it's Ken. That's what he does.
Yep.
Right.
He's great. It was a good crew. It was a really good crew.
Yep. Friday we were not. Chrissy,
go ahead. No, I was gonna say testing. We did not test, is what you were gonna say. I'm amazed at the people that did. I think it's, first of all, the testing at Pitt is not great. The timing isn't great. They shuffle cars around. Sometimes you're racing with Ferraris, sometimes you're not. But in this torrential downpour plus wind, not a great testing environment when it was going to be dry all the rest of the weekend. So that just seemed like a bad idea for people that, I'm sure there's people that needed to test if you're doing an engine swap or you did some kind of change that you needed to test, but it's really not a conducive atmosphere for what
I have
the
heard that
weekend's gonna be like.
they're considering rechanging the test format for next year to make it a more open testing day, and that they would get a lot more people. So we'll see if they do.
I hope
Great.
so.
There were only 2 Friday transponder turn-ins that I know of, so that's not too bad considering the weather.
I think there were only 15 cars that were going around at the same time. So
Yeah.
yes,
It was rough. All right,
Agreed.
Friday, dawn bright and early, still wet and crappy, still didn't want to make breakfast, so didn't unpack. But we unpacked in the garage. You unpacked a lot. I don't even remember what I did most of the day Friday in the morning.
I worked.
You worked, yeah.
You went to get gas at some point.
I did.
I was working.
Yeah, we got a lot of gas, and then actually we had to get ready for our theme because our theme started right when tech did at noon.
Yeah.
We set right up, camped out, had our little PA speaker, and we just did our thing. And that was fun and annoyed everybody around us for
So
the several
How much of
hours.
that was scripted? How much of that was scripted and how much was off the top?
about 40% was scripted. We had worked on it on the drive up because we'd gone and gotten the entry list and we knew some jokes about the teams and we were digging a little bit. And then some of the teams had just come in by themselves and we're like, okay, here's the joke. And we worked out a rhythm of, okay, feed me a line. And, the answer was always, why? What's that for? What do you mean? And yeah, if it was really, really funny, chances are we made it up.
Yeah. Some of the more generic ones. Mental did take the how did you do it, Mental?
So there's a YouTube video of the best of Statler and Waldorf, and then I just plugged that into a transcriber, and then went through and pulled out anything that we thought could be generically funny. So
and it worked.
Yes,
Some of them
I
we
spent
didn't
a
have
lot of
anything
time
good.
editing. Yes.
Yeah, that was key though to have that. Yeah, Chrissy, you brought our cars through. All good.
I
No
did.
issues?
Yeah, everything was fine. Yeah, because those guys were sitting in the booth and everyone was like, "Oh, how are we going to do that?" And then you guys had a joke ready for me, which was great. So yeah, I figured.
What would you call that theme?
I don't know. What do you call it?
Well, you're supposed to say medium, but yes.
I thought you say medium, and I'd say why.
Yeah.
Either whatever.
Yeah.
It was that good a joke.
Why medium?
Well, it's not rare and it's not well done.
So they were all ready, and I went through with no problem. I had Dale who checked my car and looked at it, asked me a couple questions. Everything was good because we were ready, and they trust us. And did I go through your line?
No.
I don't remember.
No, I think you were in the other bay. I just went where I wasn't going to be out of the way.
Yeah.
So yeah, or yes, take it.
So
take the car for this week.
yes, we've already gone through the awards, but the stuff coming through the tech line, what caught your eye? What did you like?
How was your Friday, Tim? You had a more interesting Friday than anyone else.
My Friday was great. It's really fun to interact with all of the folks. Like that's the thing that I've really enjoyed most about judging is being able to meet all the teams. You get to meet some people when you're racing, but you don't get to see everybody. And you get to look at all the crazy things they've done to their cars and watch people like nail the theme, half-heartedly go through a theme, or just fall on their face, or have none at all. And I love just like hazing them when they have no theme at all. It's great because no one is going to yell at you for doing that. You can just be as brutal as you want, and they take it. So it's super fun. That's unusual in this time of day. But
I thought that was one of the strongest events as themes go that I have seen this year. I'm just, man, like Barber, there were some people came in there and they were taking it pretty darn seriously. But God, there were just so many interesting original themes at Pitt.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. I feel like people are leaning into it more and more, which is awesome.
Yes. It's the performance art piece. But in kind of the interest of setting the standard, the judges had a thing, which is a trend I think everybody is in love with. When the judges all theme, you guys had one.
We did. So we were the Pittsburgh Pirates, but not the baseball team. So we were dressed up as pirates, and it was ahoy matey, and all of the Jack Sparrow going on. So we did that on Friday and Saturday, and I would love to have leaned into it a little bit more, but boy, that tech area is busy because it's so small. It's such a small area. So you didn't have a ton of time to do it. We had a lot of cars. It'd be fun to go and judge and go through that process at a smaller race like Ridge, where you've only got 46 cars. But when you got 100, I think we ended up with 116 cars. So it's pretty busy in that period of time. And we had a bunch of new cars too, which I think we had 14 cars new to the series.
Wow.
Cool.
That's
yeah,
exciting.
I was going to make sure that
Whoa.
you touched.
Yeah, 14. Wow.
Touched on how people don't realize being a judge and what it goes into and how hectic and tiring Friday is.
Yeah.
It is so long, and especially with
Nonstop.
116 cars, it's crazy. And so do you have any more thoughts on that?
Yeah. So glutton for punishment, I decided to get to the gate at 7 to help with gate on Friday because, being on my feet from 11 to 5 isn't enough. I'd be on my feet from 7 to 11 too. But it's
one of the
fast.
myriad of reasons why everybody loves you, Tim.
You will get it done, baby. I like being in it. And, but you've got nonstop cars coming in, and Eric does a great job in setting the judges up with who's coming, what they have, if they've got a possible new motor swap, so you know what to look for. So you've got I had a notebook with all sorts of notes and everything in it, so you can try to get classing pretty much done prior to when the car arrives, and then it's fun to let them squirm and try to bribe you into something else, and then the wheeling and dealing that goes back and forth, and if they're good enough about it, you can give them a little slack, especially if you know their history. Like there was one team that Eric was like, it's a B car, they explode all the time, it doesn't matter where you class them. And guess what happened on Saturday?
Yeah.
It's like
Eric's notes are on point every time.
Amazing. Yeah. He's like the Lemons Nostradamus. It's amazing.
He's human. It's not AI, it's II, because it's organic intelligence, but he's just collected after all the years of
Eric intelligence.
All the years of doing this. He does have a sixth sense on this one. But I want to touch on this because this is a thing. I know, like Judge Shelley, this is one of her big pet peeves. Chrissy, you guys, hate it, but when someone doesn't theme, you're not arguing your way out of whatever class you're getting put into. And while I have an entire room full of just weird crap that I have brought home from races, that up to and including, like, I've bought special luggage just to bring dumb crap home. I would argue that my favorite bribe is just an actual really well done theme. Anything that I just turn around, especially when you're like fully hectic, you've got your clipboard, you turn around and you see the car and you see the costumes, and you got to like grab a knee and start laughing. But Tim, or actually everybody, because it's always it's on all the Facebook groups. Hey, what's a good bribe for these group of judges? Should we get this really expensive bottle of whiskey, or you know what? Yeah, Four Loko. Everybody loves Four Loko, which nobody loves Four Loko.
You know what else everybody loves? Malort.
Freaking Fireball. Would people stop giving out Fireball, please?
Freaking Malort.
Right?
The Malort came from you, right, Tim?
Yes.
Yeah, so somebody, not from you, but
how
somebody
did
brought
Malort
it.
end up in our garage?
Yeah, that's
brought Malort, and I brought it to
Chris. I can see it from here. It's sitting on my kitchen counter over there.
Who was the two guys from Colorado that were on the Garage Heroes? And we're jumping ahead to Saturday.
Brad.
So your video, Jepson's has grabbed that. They've put it out there.
Did they? Oh, that's fun. I put that on the racing,
on the Jepson Malort racing team.
Yeah, racing team.
But what are like anyone that's listening to this show, like, oh, I'm gonna go racing, how can I bribe the judges? Round robin. What's just a good way to get what you want classing wise and punishment lap rides?
I got one. So there is a team that has a sausage theme, and
that's our buddy. It's
Al Jones.
Al Jones, man. Yeah.
Al Jones made the logo for the hood of their car with caricatures, sausage caricatures of all of the staff. And it's like Eric Rude and Sean Rogers, and there's one of me. So he made individual ones, and then he made a group one where they're all together in a big one, and that's on the hood of the car. And I was like, that is so cool. And then he gave all the judges extras that you could take home. So I have a sausage caricature of me that is on my race car now. Fantastic.
Along those lines, I think thoughtful. So at Colorado, I got all kinds of quarters because people knew that I'm a numismatist. I got sticky change and a half-eaten pizza. Like people that try and like they've either listened to the show or they have talked to somebody to say, here are the things that really either make me mad or make me laugh, or are really thoughtful. I think that's what it is. But they gave me like a gift bag with all kinds of things that I like, and just thoughtful gifts are much better than any bottle of liquor. And
Like
of
we all
course,
have Harbor Freight gold ratchets now because of
right.
doing this.
Don't need any more of those.
Right.
And you know what, on that note, it just reminded me of like feedback we got some years ago, and I don't want to throw this in there, but this is from Team Idle Chatter, and they were talking about the potluck, and someone said like,
Can't
oh,
read
you
it.
know what?
I can't read that.
Okay,
but-
and what it is it's a screen capture of a text, and it says, I'm hoping to hit Costco tomorrow, can keep the eyes open for potluck food, parentheses, potato salad, snacks, water, isotonics. And he replies, there tends to be a lot of potato salad. If they had a big bag of green beans or something, we could quickly saute those up. I'm trying to think of things that don't need major refrigeration. And it came to us with the message of, I'm fighting the good fight. I'm helping.
Nice.
Just trying to subtly ban potato salad
We
from
literally,
all potlucks.
again, jumping to Saturday, didn't get any potato salad. None potato salad. So you're right. We won this potluck, and we'll get there. But yes.
That's my
Right.
fault. I was asked by Corey Dickman to bring the worst potato salad and ran when parked racing and put it on there.
That's great. There's the theory of that makes me I feel better, and I didn't need to consume it. So it's
Yeah,
awesome.
it's okay. The Corey is contributing to the Pittsburgh potluck. That's good.
Correct.
Good.
Very
I know,
helpful.
I know who's getting a bucket of potato salad in El Camino at the next race.
Tim, any cars or teams stand out in particular for things that they did well or poorly?
There was a lot of really good ones. The one of the teams that was great, but their theme was just terrible, was the Passat, the diesel Passat.
Steinkamp.
It's almost such a good car. You're like, I feel bad for giving you a hard time because of what you brought. So you've got a challenge there, right? Like the car is the theme. So I gave them a pass. But some of the teams you find are really, really funny. There was one particular guy from Jersey, from a town that I grew up really close to, and he was a disaster. He comes in late for tech, car's not ready, it's not running, his number's wrong, like check all the boxes that could be wrong, right? And he's been doing it for like 10 years. I'm like, how did you mess this up so bad, right? And of course from Jersey, he's from Queens actually, but right around the corner from where I was. And but if I wasn't from Jersey, like I wouldn't know how to process this guy. But at the end of the race, like he and I were bullshitting and having a good time. He gave me a bunch of stickers from his team, but it's like he's just abrasive and like gung ho, and he gets black flagged the like first 3 laps because he did a terrible.
A driver from Jersey?
Right? North Coast or East Coast. I'm sorry. East Coast.
No, I like North Coast. North Coast is accurate.
Northeast
North
Coast is
Yeah.
what I was
North
going to
Coast.
say. And
North Coast.
smushed
Yeah.
it all together.
Yeah. What? Yeah.
He didn't fix his numbers appropriately like we told him to, so he had to come back in and fix his numbers again, and then like the car wasn't running right because a piece fell off, and he was like level 12 the whole time. Like,
is he the one that you were spray painting the numbers, and you were
Yes.
trying to make this spray paint, and then they like came in, they put a piece of tape, but it wasn't actually finishing a number or starting a number? Yes, I remember them actually.
Yeah, they were a mess. Funny, but a mess. So you're trying to like shepherd the herd along, which is super fun. But a lot of cool cars. Being a West Coast.
Who was somebody that was on the bubble, like for getting an award and just didn't get it? Like they'll get an honorable mention in the wrap up. But yeah, somebody that was like right there, that was standing out to you.
So that's a great question. So there were a couple of teams in it for IOE. obviously the French car. I'm drawing a blank on what it was.
Simca
Yeah,
Sagi. Yeah.
Simca was in the hunt, and we were praying for the Simca. You know, we'd see the Simca go by, and all the judges would be like, "Simca's on track! Simca's on track!" And then it'd come in on the hook, and you're like, "Oh." So there were a lot of fun things for IOE. The really tricky part was actually figuring out Halloween meets gasoline and judges' choice. I mean, there were some folks that were leaning into the theme. The OSHA team, those guys were hysterical. They tagged, so they went around and they tagged like people's cars and like golf carts, and the Cordoba, the blue Cordoba that broke, they tagged the Cordoba, and the team came over and thought it was legit. Like they thought the track did.
They're so nice. They're so, like,
it was hysterical. They're like, the car's been impounded. Like, we don't know what to do. And then we're like, no. That's the OSHA folks. They're Goshen. They're just tagging everybody. So like they were ready to like go pay fees to the pro shop to get their car out of impound. So like they leaned into it. They were fantastic. So
I didn't realize it until they called me out Saturday night at the potluck. They were actually on the Alaska rally because they went up there and rented a van, and they were the B team at play on the A team, and they're just funny folks all the way around.
Yeah, they're great. They said they've got a new theme for the next race, so hopefully they'll lean into that as hard as they did in this, and they're sure to be in the discussion again. Good folks. Like one of my favorite moments, though, not theme related. It was a red Subaru comes, and Saturday was messy, right? It was slippery. It had rained so much. If you went off track, it was just, the car was filthy. And this car comes in after looping it, and there are like large clumps of mud on the roof of the car. And I was like, how did you get mud on the roof? Like, it was like the whole car was polka dotted with mud on every single body panel. It was crazy. So they were great about it too. They were like, yeah, we're sorry. We won't do it again. 3 laps later, here they are again. Yeah. So the repeat customers are my favorite. I love those guys.
Excellent. All right. Friday night, Chrissy made us delightful wort burgers, and we
So cold.
Yeah, it was cold.
And
that was
windy.
tough.
Yeah.
Yep. And then we managed to get to talk Zach with the Vannenball, who is having a sad puppy moment of his car's broken. He's outside.
Beyond
It's
sad
raining.
puppy
It's
moment.
cold.
That's-
It's windy. It's terrible.
He hasn't slept in days.
Right.
Everything he owns is wet.
Gentleman Dave has loaned him a tarp, and he's trying to work on the car in the blowing
Under a
cold
tarp. Right?
rain.
Yeah. So we said, Zach, just bring the van up here and put it in the garage. So we moved the Mazda over next to the Civic and put the van in, and then a whole team of people descended on it, just taking the detritus out of it, cleaning it up. I was lying under with a multimeter trying to figure out why the starter's not engaging, cleaning up contacts, like getting everything going. And once you know it, by the end of the night, that thing turned over.
Chrissy,
Yes,
didn't
I
you
know.
put something on Facebook?
You know what? I took 85 videos and I didn't post them anywhere. So
No, I thought you put like a call of mercy out on the Facebook. So
Oh,
hey,
I might have. Yeah. But yes, but I did take video of it running because we were surprised. And there's plenty of videos of like, click. Okay, stop video.
Try again.
It didn't start that time. Okay, blah, 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 blah. Oh, okay, new video. So yes, we struggled, but it was absolutely a team effort. We were basically stepping over each other because there were so many people working on that car.
Gentleman Dave leaned in hard and did a lot of work
Yeah,
on the
he did.
van. Like over the couple of days, he did a ton of work on it. So, but it went from a pile of terrible sadness that didn't run to a pile of terrible sadness that ran after a day and a half in the
Still
garage.
didn't stop though. I think that was
Yeah, whatever. It was better. And a running car is massively better for the emotions of those involved than a non-running car, and you don't know why. That's always just
it
brutal.
turned laps.
Did
Did
you
it?
guys?
Did
It did.
Mhm.
It did.
Oh, good.
Oh, okay.
Not a lot,
couple?
but a couple.
No.
Not a lot.
Okay. A couple.
Did you guys hear the real kick in the teeth that happened to him on Thursday night into Friday? I think it was, where he brought 2 spare motors, which he generally doesn't do. He had them in the back of the pickup truck, and the tarp blew off, and then it dumped rain into all the openings of the motors that he just got.
What did you
Uh,
say that it got 2 days worth of what do you call it? Pressure washing, basically. Just
Yeah.
like the truck, the van was just sopping wet.
So much rain.
Yes.
Yeah.
the back storage, the stow and go that is obviously stripped out. The substance that was in there reminded me of like the toxic water running around Nolans after Katrina. Because someone's like,
This
"Hey,
is
we're gonna
not
wipe
good.
all this out. Go grab some towels." I'm like, "Not a towel I ever want to touch or care about. I'm not touching any of that."
Yeah.
Nope.
Terrifying. Inside of that car is terrifying.
Yes. Yes, it is.
All of
Yes.
it is terrifying.
I'd rather lay on the engine than lay in the car.
The roof looks pretty appealing, actually, after everywhere else. Yes.
Oh,
Okay, well we helped, so that was good. Okay, so that was what, Friday night?
Friday night.
It was
Well-
cold and raining all day Friday. So yeah, we ended up cooking outside quickly and then ate everything in the garage. Was that the night that you made a hat on your head, Tim?
Yes.
Made
I
a
had- yeah.
hat.
I had a silicone beanie. Cold out.
God, it was so cold.
Oh, yes, but Tim is funny. So yes, was that Malort night?
That was Malort night.
That was Malort night. Yes.
Yeah.
So we had a friend drink Malort, and the video is priceless. It's very good.
And what was great, he does the shot of Millard, and part of it, bravado of I can do this, da 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 da. And,
Yes.
he's looking at us like, yeah, that's right, I can do that. And we're like, oh, we know you can do this part. Give it a couple of minutes.
Wait for it.
And then you like, and then you start asking him like every 30 seconds, so how's
Yeah.
it now? How's it now? And after about a minute, he goes, how's it getting worse? I'm like, I drank it so long ago. Why? And then he finally just starts walking around going, ah.
Like everybody does when they drink Malort. So yes. It was a good video.
It was.
That was the
I mean, you couldn't have scripted it any better. It was
No.
the perfect reaction.
Yeah. And none of it was scripted. It was just how it went down.
Yeah.
Yep.
So good.
Yep.
All right. Saturday was warmer, but
It's
windy,
clear.
but
It was sunny.
dry. We could not-
Windy. Well, the whole weekend was windy. It never stopped being very windy.
No. It was
I
windy.
don't think my core temperature got to 98.6 until Sunday morning when I just took a long hot shower and I get it. My blood's thin. I live in the desert. I was just so cold and so miserable the entire weekend, all of it. I never got warm.
The showers there are nice and hot though, which is good.
They are. Yeah.
They are.
Yeah, but it was sunny in the morning, which was lovely. After we never know how it was going to be that morning, but it was sunny. It was drying up. All good. Mental, you went out first.
Yes, I
Took
did.
the opening
So
shift.
I went out first. The car was great. Reading afterwards, there was a little bit of aggro stuff going on in there, and I was trying to play it smart. Coming into a high speed corner, I felt like I had a good line. A third car in the corner appeared. I flinched. I dropped the wheel, then proceeded to spin across the track into this deep, deep mud. If there'd been a camera in the car, you'd have just heard new curse words and no, and bounced it along the wall. Managed to have the wherewithal to not get stuck, grabbed a gear, floored it, got back onto the track. And that was about 30 minutes into it. And thus ended our attempt at winning B. Limped the car back in, pulled it into the garage, covered in mud, Went to go do my apologies in the penalty box while we did the damage assessment. While you did the damage assessment.
Yeah, we did a quick once over, and then while asking Zach and Dave, hey, can you guys how movable is that van so we can get up on the lift in our bay? And they did a great job of. They're like, oh, yeah, it's actually almost movable, so they got it back together and movable very quickly.
So good. In fact, they took one of Al Jones's totes because they were just trying to move everything out of the garage.
Yeah.
Oh, well, they had a bunch of kids. There were a bunch of, all of their arrival drives. We just said, move it out. And so they just started to, yes, they started. I
Yeah.
think they were moving your stuff because some of your stuff was
Everything.
up there.
It was there, so it was getting moved.
Yes. No,
Yep.
not that. No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So they we got it out. Metal cleaned it up a bit so we could get the mud off it so we could actually see things a little bit. And ultimately it was a control arm. Left front control arm was bent up out by the ball joint at about a 40-degree angle. Fender was bent in, headlight was bits and pieces, bumper was bent in, and that's what we could see initially. So it was towed in significantly, and that was ended up being from the control arm. So got it up on the lift, bumper off. That had a big crack in it. Chrissy, you and Vicky fixed the crack in the bumper.
Added some zip ties, structural
yep.
zip ties.
Drifto.
I got the left front suspension apart. Fortunately, had all the parts, had a spare loaded knuckle, had a spare control arm. See these things I tell you to bring for spares. There's a reason. It's great when you have them, right?
Yeah, taking care of future Chris.
Yep. Future all of us. So
Yeah, right. Future race
got
car.
everything, got all that stuff on, and gave it a really solid once over, looking around for things. Didn't see anything else broken. Didn't feel anything else broken. But replaced the control arm and the knuckle because didn't trust the wheel bearing after the hit to that wheel. So even though it was fairly new and it probably would have been okay, it's not worth it when we have the spare. Let's get the new one on. So got that on, got the while everyone else was putting the body back together, and we got the hub plates out and looked, and the alignment was still, once everything was, all the parts were replaced, alignment was spot on. I got under there with a tape measure and measured the subframe, which the subframe can move on that car a little bit when it gets bumped. Subframe was still in place, which was good. Took a lot of measurements and time to figure that one out. But that was all good. So total about 3 hours off track, and then the car was back drivable enough. So Chrissy, you took it out. How was your time out?
It was good. It was good. It was fine. I went out because it was midday, so it was, the track was pretty quick. We all know this track, or at least Chris and I know this track very well. So, plenty of miles around the track. Yeah, had a good stint. Did pretty well. Didn't push it. I was, 8/10, maybe 7, 8. Just knowing that we wanted to make sure that everybody got in the car. Times were okay.
You're being consistent in the low to mid 220s.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think
turning laps.
Right. Yeah. So I think it was fine. It was enough that I knew the track. Of course, getting back out first time for the last 8 months, 6 months, 8 months. So yeah, and I just want to make sure everybody had time. So I was definitely lifting places, definitely over braking some places, just to remind myself what it's like to be in the race car. So yeah, it was great. Had a good time. Was rocking past people. It was enough. And then you got in?
Yeah, and I got in to finish up the day, and car was running great. It was its usual self, passing. There's only a handful of cars that stuck a pass on me. It was like the TMMI Camry and a couple BMWs with wangs, and that was about it. And I've had some great battles with some other cars though, where you could tell they really, really wanted to pass me, and they really, really tried. And guess what? They didn't do, and is pass me. And eventually they faded away. That was there was an EF Civic with a K24 swap that never made it past me. There was a 318 Ti BMW with a big wing. He really tried. He couldn't get past me, but we had really nice battles for a while. That was good, clean, fun racing, pushing. Had a great time out there. Got down to a 211 flat, which is
that's all in the mail.
3 seconds faster than that car has run with me at that track before. So pretty happy with the setup on that car right now and how it's doing. So that was
foreshadowing
good.
With really good tires.
Yeah, right. The tires were really
totally good tires Bob used, but certainly not great tires.
Yeah.
So pulled off the end of the day and felt good. Mentally, you jumped right in and started working on it, getting ready for the next day. And then we gave it a good solid once over. Didn't need anything. We rotated. We took the tires off, looked at them, said, "Yeah, man, these tires are done after this race. They're totally smoked." And
Yeah, that's foreshadowing, folks. 'Cause
Right?
we're going to talk
Again.
about Sunday. And we don't want to dig into this. Chrissy's Nick was at it, but we don't want to air dirty laundry, but I'm going to throw this out there. So I wrecked my friend's car. All right. I felt like crap. Nice. Well done. I felt
Good
like
timing.
crap. And I was over internalizing that one. And it's just one of those things where, you get these situations, you are sharing the track with 119 other cars, and incidents are going to happen. And yes, you know what? I was in control of the car. I gave up control of the car and I wadded up the car. But we got into a bad place because we weren't talking. It's just throwing that lesson out there. Learn, carry the spares of stuff that is cheap and easy to replace. The front clips, the lower control marks, the already mounted bearings that you can replace in 4 bolts. But talk. If you have an incident like this on your team, talk. I've been very good friends with everyone on this screen for a decade and a half, and here we were still having issues communicating and expressing ourselves on that one. And it made for what was my worst race weekend ever. And that I bear all of that on me. So I'm just trying to say, learn from us, just talk, even if it's an unpleasant conversation, have the conversation at the track, work through it.
Our show is good at telling people to learn from our mistakes. We all have made lots of mistakes doing this, that's for sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mental
Potluck was
mental
awesome.
came. Hang on, I'm gonna give you. So mental comes over after he loops the car, and he walks over to report to the judges, and like if you could see the puppy dog ears down and tail between the legs, right, and the sad puppy face as he came in, and I was like, oh, I can't yell at this guy. I'm like, come here, buddy. Gave him
He
a
did
big
actually.
hug.
Tim and Eric both hugged me. They gave me a hug.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gave him a big hug. Like his face said it all. I was like, all right, this guy's self-punishment right now.
As I mentioned last week, I've done 4 races this year. I've wrecked 3 cars, and I didn't blow up a 4th one, but now I'm convinced that I blew up another one. I am feeling the black hand of doom right now, and I'm
Gotta get out of that.
I am taking measures. I am not going to strap into an endurance car for the rest of the year. I'll get on the track, but I need to get back to basics and kind of just get my head straight again before I go and jump on a track with 80 of my friends. And, so I've got a doctor's appointment next month, and we're going to do a battery of tests just to make sure that there's not something cognitive going on. I am troubled, but I'm working through it.
Bad things come in threes. It's all over.
Right?
Yes. Good way to look at it, Tim. I like that.
Yeah.
All right.
So the potluck was friggin' amazing.
Off the hook.
Amazing.
Off the
Great
hook.
job, everybody.
I wish I'd gotten some pierogi. God, I saw that pierogi. I was trying to be nice and let everybody in front of me, but God,
that's not how it works.
I know I should have gotten some
My
of that,
team
and damn it.
We are the host and staff. You go through first. That's how it goes.
Nick brought some legit kielbasa. I got some of that. That was awesome. Yeah. Of course, all the chicken, all that stuff. It was great. Yeah. I feel like the balance was really strong.
It was. And it actually was dinner heavy, I would say, which is good. But because last time I threatened that it was dessert heavy, and that was too much. So yeah, dinner heavy.
This was about perfect. There was so much variety,
and not
everybody
too much
had
left
food.
over. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was just right. Like I think this might be the best one overall.
I think I agree. Yeah, not too much. Yeah, there was not too much salad. It was balanced. It was well.
No, we had a few people doing drinks. We had the right amount of desserts. We had good apps. We had
only a couple people that were
salads, you name it. It was all there.
Yep.
And,
Yeah.
and the Bish crew was in there. Everyone retirees was in there theming. The OSHA was in there theming. Top Gun was in there theming. Everybody was in there theming. They kept it going all night. That was hilarious. One of the observations was it wasn't like super crazy. It wasn't like this nuts party, but it just kept going. Like everybody was just, we're sitting in huddles, we're in the garages, and everyone's just catching up. It was the embodiment of why we do this. Just, low key socialization with people that you like.
Everyone wanted to be in the garages because it wasn't windy in the garages too. So,
But at least it was dry, and it wasn't as cold on Saturday night as it was Friday night. And yeah, it was getting better. Sunday was better too.
Yeah, I would define the mood as cozy. It was everyone was really, really just kind of chilling, hanging out, and getting to know each other. It was neat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How'd Saturday go for you in the penalty box, Tim?
Saturday was busy. Holy cow. We had a lot of multiple offenders. Nobody really got too aggro. My thing that I like to do, which Brian, and Sean Rogers, and one of the things that I like to do, and Brian was like, "Oh, I'm stealing that," is somebody will come in, and you can take a look at them and tell pretty quickly what their mood is. Like, people are very bad with poker faces, right? And if
When you can
And
only
they have
see their
Right,
eyes.
and they have helmets on, so it's amazing.
Yeah, so you can tell by their eyes, right? Like, they're either like scrawly face or they're wide eyed, like, and so it's like, "Hi, my name's Tim. What's your name?" Right? So I just kind of start out that way. It's like, "Hi, my name's Brad. Hi, Brad. Why are you here?" Right? So it's just a really like.
And how can you be mad at this face though?
It's just a friendly way to get started. And then you're like, "Brad, like, that sounds like a pretty dumb thing to do. Like, why would you do something that dumb?" So you get him like talking to himself about that. So that's super fun. And then like when they come in the second time, then you're like, "Why, Brad, why are you here again?" Right? And then there were a couple of teams that I made a sign up. I just hand wrote it up, and it was the Fiero teams, the silver Fiero number 70, and they spun out 3 times. They ended up getting the sexy car wash penalty, and their car was filthy, which was great.
And an Iron Duke Fiero.
This
automatic.
is a bone stock automatic Fiero.
Yeah,
This was IOE material.
Yeah, it really was. It really was. But they could not keep the front end on the front, and they kept coming back around. So the last time we get the call, 70's in for a black flag, third one. So I made up a sign real quick, and it just said, "I'm not surprised, just disappointed," with the frowny face. And I held the sign up as they rolled into tech, and they came in, and so I was like, "Well, get the team, and off you go." So I borrowed your speaker and microphone and hooked up a little Barry White, and had them do sexy car wash to Barry White, and they did it so poorly, and I was less than titillated, so I made them do it again. And Randy Bish came over, and he was like, "This is the saddest sexy car wash I've ever seen." And I was like, "You need to coach these guys. Like, can I get some help? Like, I need to step away, and I need somebody that is like not involved to just help them along." And boy, they leaned into it the second time around. It was awesome. The guy was like cleaning out the tailpipes and like polishing the wang. They did a good job. They did a good job. So it was fun. We had Bob Ross penalties. We had all sorts of things. One of my favorites was Jim Bauman actually said this. He said, "Poor Stacy's down at the gate, and then like Timbuktu by herself all day long, right? And it's windy and it's cold, and she's just a trooper, just hanging out there." He said, "So send her some people." So I think 3 different teams, we were like, "All right, get your team together and go drive down 10 miles an hour through the paddock all the way to the far end where check-in is, and go give Stacy a hug. Stacy's been there all day and she needs a hug." take a picture with Stacy, and Stacy needs to text us the picture.
Oh,
You guys
that is totally going to be, that's going to Sonoma. That's going to Buttonwillow. That is a wonderful penalty. I love it.
It's so good. And we got a Winnebago Lego kit as one of the bribes. So we had one team, and they had 2 young girls on the team, and then I think it was daughters and father, and then a brother or an uncle. And I sent all them down there with the Winnebago, and I said, well, it's time for a little arts and crafts. You guys put the Winnebago together with Stacy, and then take a picture together, and then come on back. And so they came back, and I've got a really cute picture of the 2 girls in the back of the car holding the Winnebago up, and she goes, "Can I keep it?" And I was like, yeah, absolutely, you can keep it. So
Lego kits, they're an expensive bribe, but they are a wonderful bribe. And there is always some kid kind of hovering around going, well, what are you going to do with that afterwards?
Yep. So it was good. There were two other bribes that I got. One I gave away at the end of the race. And so I think it was Garage Heroes that brought the pack of 12 rockets, like the build your own rockets.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was
I put some of those together for them, and those were legit, real deal build your own rockets.
I don't know what to do with these. Let me think about it. So then the weekend kind of came and went, and then everyone's packing up, and then Randy Bish is in the same garage as us. And so I brought the box over to Randy Bish, and I said, I can't think of a worse person to give these to. And I handed it to him and said, do your worst. And he goes, oh, do I have some ideas for this? So if Randy starts shooting rockets in the middle of the next race, it's not my fault. It's not my fault. But the one that I'm disappointed we didn't get to use, somebody gave us, this was amazing. They gave us in the box an 8-track player for your car. Still in the box. They gave us a wiring kit, and they gave us 3 8-tracks. And we were going to have somebody as the third penalty wire it into their car and play it around for the rest of the weekend. And we tried to save that for Sunday, and we didn't have a lot of action on Sunday. So that's the one that got away. And I think we're going to need to see that one again in the future, because that'd be amazing. It's got to be in the right car, though.
Like something like the Cordoba.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or like completely, like in like a brand new, Japanese generic car, put an 8-track in that one, because everybody's used to Bluetooth, these days. But yes.
Excellent. All right. Saturday night, all good. Sunday morning, bright and early. Chrissy, you got us going.
Nope. We
No?
put Eric in first.
That's right. We had Eric first. Eric.
Correct.
It's because we told Eric, hey, if we're not in contention, everybody drives. Isn't that fun? And so Eric got out first, and Eric did a whole hour and a half. He did a whole hour and a half on Saturday. He did a whole hour and a half on Sunday.
And he said
he felt great.
Do more.
Oh, yeah. So whatever, we got to ask Eric what this generic Dramamine that he's taking is working, whatever it is, because we got to tell other people, because this works. This slated demon for
I
Eric.
think it's like Walgreens, I want to say.
Yeah, it's some store brand.
I was on Garage Heroes and they mentioned it, and now I want to look at it. Maybe I could start right seating again, because I would. Yeah, that's awesome.
Walgreens, like the actual brand does not work. It is Walgreens for some reason. Is that generic? It works.
He needs to buy a pallet of it before they make formula.
Pretty much. Yeah, they should. Yeah, so, but it's working.
He had a good clean run. He was running times very similar to Chrissy, and all is good. So
and then I got in.
Then you got in.
I got in. Yep. I think it was fine. Yeah, I think it was fine. I think tires started to leave us, or I guess maybe they weren't as gone as yours, but I don't know. Yeah, I think it was fine.
Yeah, then there was a lunch yellow, black, a full course yellow. You came in, and it was pretty early, and then we swapped Mental in at the garage because we thought, well, we don't need fuel. So Mental, you went out. How's your shift?
Yeah. I think I settled into an area of 219, and yeah, literally, battling through like, the bit in Days of Thunder where you just keep seeing cars crash in front of them. Like, don't crash the car. Don't crash the car twice. Don't crash the car twice. So, but yeah, went out. Yeah. Had a good stint.
Yep. We ended up, we can't hear you very well on the radio. The way the microphone is kind of quiet.
Yeah.
So we thought you were telling us you were out of gas. So we hurried up and got Jeff in the car a little sooner than expected.
Which we're burying the headline. We had Jeff back in the car, which is
Correct.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because Jeff was there with Garage Heroes. And during this whole time, while you were out, we were over at the Civic, Garage Heroes Civic, and Brad gets in to go out, and Jeff and I are standing next to it as he starts it up, and it starts up a little hard. And then we're listening to it as he backs out and said, "That's not how that car's supposed to sound." We both look at each other like, that's not right. So we pull it back in. We're poking at stuff. It just doesn't sound right as it's revving. I pull the spark plug wire off cylinder number 1. Idle doesn't really change. Pull it off 2, it does. Pull it off 3, it does. Pull it off 4, doesn't change. Okay, all right. So we go and pull the plugs. They were all, some of them were not tight. So we thought, oh, well, maybe that's the problem. They all looked okay. So we tightened them back up, put it back in. Nope. And then I started pulling injectors one at a time. And I had the car running just as well with the injectors for cylinders 1 and 4 unplugged on a ported injected car as it did with them all plugged in. So he said, well, there's a problem here. We've got a compression tester, and the compression ranged from, I think it was 90, 110, 200, and 40. Those are our 4 compression numbers.
Fine. Those numbers
Yeah.
are just fine.
So we put oil down cylinders 1 and 4, the low ones, and it went up by about 2 psi per cylinder. It says, okay, there's something in the head. So we put it all back together enough that it could drive itself back on the trailer and whatnot. And that's when
Before
we said,
they
all right.
did their funeral, their
Yes.
military funeral presentation. If they had their over the Top Gun theme, which, if you guys haven't been paying attention, earned them the Halloween Meets Gasoline, and it was brilliantly executed. I'm still slightly disturbed at how attractive Bill is in that t-shirt and flight suit with the,
Yep.
He's one thing, but the Brad's friend, the kid from Colorado, he wore a shirt with a women's body on it, and he loved it. He walked around and owned it, and I did a double take, and he's got a big beard too, so that made it even more concerning. But he owned it, and you would do it. I did double takes. I was like, because the shirts looked so real that you just were. Oh, and Jeff had one on too.
Jeff had
and
the hair chest Borat bathing suit shirt on with
And
a,
they
with a
look so
Hawaiian shirt
real
over it. And
that you look
I
at
definitely
it and
double
you're,
taked it.
yeah, you're just like, wait, is that? Oh, it's not happening. Okay, that's good. But yes,
and they
were
had
funny.
them under their flight suits. So if casual glance, you're like, man, Bill got ripped, and that guy got boobs, and Jeff got really hairy. Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah.
Oh, so concerning.
Yeah, the final funeral procession they did for that, the military funeral got them. That pushed them right over the top for the Halloween Meets Gasoline.
And of course
it was a tight race, and that was well earned.
Yep.
So Jeff was out in the car for an hour and 20-ish, and was doing lap times in the right around 220, both on both sides of 220. I think he got down to like a 218, and as he gets out, he says to me, "Man, these tires are smoked. Watch out." He's like, "Yep, I know." So I get in for the last hour 20, and the tires are smoked, but I'm going along and having a good time. It's not quite as fast as the day before, but I knew that. It's all
You're
right.
still into 216 range a couple times.
Yeah.
For a while, and then not.
For a while. And then, about 15 minutes left in the race. And then the car starts to have a little shake on higher speeds, and especially in right turns. I'm like, oh man. And Pittsburgh's a clockwise track. There's a lot of right turns, and it's getting a little worse. And I'm slowing down, and it's getting worse. And I slow down a little more, and I am taking right turns casually at this point because I'm figuring, all right, these tires are done. It's like something's gonna happen. I don't want it to be at like the kink at 16 going at speed. Like, all right, take it easy. There's only like 10 minutes left in the race at this point. Just back off. And so I backed off and doing like 230 somethings. And that's Chrissy, you looked at it and said, oh, something's wrong.
Uh-huh. Yeah. So it went from
Yeah.
like 225 to 230 to 237. Like you might have hit a 240, but like obviously slowing down.
Right. Well, the race is almost over. And it just be safe. Bring it in. And managed to do so. And got through not only the rubber, not only the first layer of banding, not only the first layer of steel belts, not only the second layer of steel belts, but through all the way into the base of the carcass in one spot on the inside edge of that tire. That's efficient use of consumables, people. This is the end of the race. That was great. Yep.
Yeah.
But the car rolled into the trailer on its own power, so that's nice. Packed up, easy drive home, no problem.
Any highlights from Sunday before the awards?
You brought the judging out. You brought,
What?
I'm sorry, you brought the rolled out the costume. The balcony. That's the word I'm looking for.
Oh yeah.
Is it
Totally.
Were you? Oh, I'm sorry. Was that to Tim?
That was to Tim.
Yeah.
That was
I
to Tim.
I wanted
apologize.
to see
I
what Tim's
thought
yeah,
he was
Tim
prompting
had
us.
highlights because we were
I apologize.
we actually had a car all day, so
Sunday was pretty quiet in the penalty box, which was good. We spent a lot of time like cruising around and checking on people's broken stuff and chatting with some of the teams. There was a lot of good repairs going on, and it's fun to be able to kind of dig into that. Well, what'd you see? Well, what'd you see? And we did have an incident. Sunday got pretty windy again.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say we had 2 wind incidents. One was in your paddock that I'm not sure you were aware of.
Yeah, we
we
were
were only
after the-
we
after
were
the
after the fact.
I am still
Yeah.
unpacking oil dry out of my gear bag and my
Oh.
luggage.
What a sad thing. Oh gosh.
That tire, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys had a 5-gallon Hunziker blowover.
Yeah, I just continue to dump.
Well,
And,
Like,
none
who'd
of
have
us
thought
were
a
there.
full
We were
fuel jug.
We were packing
was-
the trailer.
was
in the
that windy.
garage.
yeah.
Yeah,
Who-
it
who
blew over
thinks
a
of-
full fuel jug.
Who thinks a full fuel jug's gonna blow over? That should be
We
fine.
did not.
We-
So we apologize. We ate a container of
Yeah.
kitty litter on that one, but
The other one, which was a little bit concerning at first, was one of the porta potties blew over
No.
and landed door down.
Oh no.
So everyone was like, "Is
Oh,
there
no.
a human in there?"
oh no.
So like safety crew, we call them. They come running over and they're real careful to prop it up. Luckily, nobody was in there and got the the blue stained hands. I'm sure for a week had that been the case. But it was crazy windy. I did
It
a
was
lap
crazy.
at the end of the day. After awards, reminding people of transponders and seeing if anybody had a problem, and the number of broken pop-up tents and garbage cans was
Mhm.
Oh, everywhere.
Yeah.
big. Yeah. So it was a day of paddock carnage, I would say. The cars were pretty quiet, but the paddock was a mess.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It was windy.
Yeah. All right. Safe. It was a good drive home for us. No problems. Everybody else
PSA
travel home safe.
confiscated my
Good.
skateboard.
No
Who did?
way.
What happened?
Oh no.
Yeah. So I
Oh.
had I packed up, threw everything. Jeff drove me to the airport.
Yeah.
I was doing all right with my flight. I get to the I get a chance to eat something, and I'm going to the gate. My little pass isn't working. And as I'm approaching the gate, I hear them calling my name,
Yes.
and I walk up, and the guy's like, "Oh, hi." I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, "You had an electric skateboard in your bag?" I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, "Well, you can't ship that. It's got lithium batteries. So if you want to, go and get it, maybe, take it to your house." I'm like, "I don't live here. I'm going home." And the other girl goes, "Well, how did you get the skateboard here?" And I I look at her and go, I'm going to give you one guess.
Oh no. So they
So,
just
yeah.
shook it?
You
Yeah.
can't take the
And
batteries out of that?
probably could have, but I wasn't expecting that level of hassle. And they were going to give me the opportunity to have somebody come and get it. I got a hold of Al Jones. I got a hold of Randy Bish, and they were both willing to drive down there and get it. But they said you have 24 to 48 hours. And apparently they would leaned a lot more towards 24. So yeah. Yeah. So I am now reshopping Facebook Marketplace for another electric skateboard.
Oh, that's a shame.
I know. I really
Bummer.
like that thing. It's
Huh.
really convenient to get around the paddock.
Yeah, it was.
So yeah. And
Oh.
then I got on my connecting flight from Denver into Las Vegas, and it was delayed by 2 hours. So I got on the plane when I should have already been home. And they started up with oh no, you can only have 5 people in the center and 5 people in the back and 5 people in the front for weight and balance. And do you want to know why I know you're lying? What went unanswered. And even though I'd paid extra money, I couldn't sit in the emergency exit row because they wouldn't let anybody sit in the emergency exit rows, which makes 0 sense to me because that is on the wing, which is where the rotation of the aircraft vertically and aft is. But anyway, so yeah, I'm arguing with a 20-something-year-old flight attendant who's trying to teach me about aviation. And I described it, you know what? I'm having a shit weekend and I'm not going to put this on that person. I'm just going to sit in my chair and mope. So yeah,
That is a brutal
shitty flight
conclusion to that weekend.
pretty much just, oh man, worst race weekend ever. Let me kick you in the nuts and see if you feel any better.
And take your skateboard.
Oh,
So whatever TSA employee thinks they got a free skateboard out of it, I have the charger in their remote. You can go fuck yourself. So you're not getting any of that. So at least with Pickle Rick, somebody was happy to have it. But yeah.
Oh, Pickle Rick.
Oh, wow.
All right.
Now
The weekend in the books.
yes, I threw this hella sweet in there, but if you guys get like an on the spot or something better, I'm down with all that. But
Yeah, go for
before
it.
we get
let's
there,
talk about this.
before we get there,
Yeah.
round robin, Tim, what else? What you guys were all working hard all weekend. You, Sean, Brian, that was a great judging staff. It was awesome
It
to have you
was.
guys there. It's always great when Eric is there, and you guys were high energy all weekend, and you seemed to play well off of each other. You were embracing the absurdity. Any closing thoughts?
Well, it's my second time judging, and if you are a Lemons racer, expect to see me more because I had a hell of a good time, and I've already started poking Rude and Kim like let's see what other dates we got. Like, what about next year? Let's I'm gonna be first in line. Let's get this done. So,
and if you want to be judged by Tim, and you do, Sonoma in November now, not December. And me, you, and Jeff have an excellent theme. It's going to be fantastic.
Yep. Look forward to it. And as I do more of these, I will be more and more creative. So third penalties are not recommended.
Or they are, because we find them amusing. So yeah.
Depending on the racer, depending on the thing yeah.
Well, when they come in all butthurt about their third penalty and you give them a penalty that makes you laugh, that's even better, frankly. And half the time they come around on it and they're okay. Like that
I come right out and say it to them before, like, this is your second one. The third one, like when you get your third one, we're going to have some fun. And when I say we, I don't mean you. I mean me and the judges. We're going to have
when we watch you.
So just we set the tone in advance, and if it's appropriate, we'll say you're gonna get this penalty. Like, this is what's coming. Like, there was one team they had it was the beautiful like black BMW, one of the newer models, and it had like this giant wing on the back of it, and they were a brand new team, didn't know what they were doing. Like, numbers are hard, tech was hard, they had a bunch of stuff they had to fix. Good on them, they got it all done. and they came in pretty quickly on Sunday for their second penalty. And the wing like wrapped up from the back bumper. It wasn't like attached to the deck lid. It came off of the frame on the back of the car. So it was huge. And I said,
Cheaty as shit and
oh,
serious research.
cheaty as shit. And I said to him, so guys, I just want you to know, like, you're the perfect candidate. I've been planning penalties for weeks. And there is an air museum 15 minutes down the road. And if you get a third penalty, you're unbolting that wing off of your car, and your team is going to drive it to the air museum and take a picture with your wing in front of the sign for the museum and then come back. And they were like, can we just go ahead and do that anyway? And I was like, absolutely you can. I love you guys.
Sure. Wow.
Oh, that's
The things
awesome.
you see.
So those are the fun, dumb things that I like to try to think up and let people know in advance what they're up for.
Good call. Hopefully it's a good deterrent.
I
Well, I
the-
feel like they
the-
got the message and they go, can we do that anyway?
They get it.
The notice of preemptive punishment is good sometimes. Like, hey, if you come in, you're gonna have to eat mayonnaise. So-
Oh, I threw out. I got a whole pile of different condiments. We didn't even get to use
No.
them. No,
Oh well.
I threw them all away.
I feel like if
All
there
right.
was somebody that we knew that didn't like mayonnaise and they were to get a black flag, we could have like a taste test to have like 3 or 4 different kinds of mayonnaise, and you'd have to pick which one's the real helmets.
Oh,
God.
wow.
Just sounds so bad.
Oh, wow. Not
All right,
this,
we're gonna start gathering mayonnaise packets in preparation for just
Different
that's a great bribe for the judges.
kinds.
Here, the condiment challenge. So you have a variety of condiments.
I mean, I
you
picked
have
one
to
of each.
say
I even
yes.
got mental. I didn't even tell you this. I picked up sweet and sour. That's a new one. I picked when we were at the rest stop. I just took one of each, and I was like, "Oh, look at all the things I got." Shoved them in my door and forgot about them. Darn.
Yeah, it's
Oh, well.
sometime like halfway through the potluck on Saturday night, as Chris was letting me ride the Moto Compacto. He's like, "Ah, damn it, I forgot you were supposed to wear the air lane." I'm like, "Too late now. I'm done."
Yeah.
All
Oh,
right.
well.
But
All right.
I'm gonna just once again say kudos to you guys. The skit and the shtick you guys had was hysterical. When you set up on Sunday at track in the morning when people were going out, and you were just riding the cars, and all the spectators that were in the area started chiming in. It was just comedy. It was
Oh, so did the judges too. That's what
Yeah.
was funny is that you
Oh.
guys kept coming up with things that are like playing off each other. And yeah, I know. I mean,
everyone was
everybody.
writing the jokes for us after a
Right?
while. It was great.
Yeah, like
It's
when
great.
people would come over and whisper the lines to us, and I am going to make fun of Zach of, hey, what do you call people that sign up to drive the van and ball? Spectators. It's a funny joke.
It was good.
All right.
Yeah, well done, guys.
Good.
Well done.
All right.
All right.
We're going to lean into this is supposed to be hella sweet but terrible, but it's all hella sweet. So stay with me on this one. There are 2 outstanding opportunities right now for you to use a small amount of money to make a really big impact. I know there are always people competing for your donation dollars, but now the first of this is a dear buddy of mine from Nylons. He is a retired Navy Master Chief, Darren Darby. He's got a great place down, like a bagel stand down there, but he is also an avid 80s motorcycle collector. And next month, he is participating in the Distinguished Gentleman's Ride on his Honda CX 650 Turbo. Now, the DGR is known as a global event that was started in Australia by Mark Hawa after seeing Mad Men's Don Draper astride a classic motorcycle wearing his finest suit. And that's what they do. They put on their best suit, they groom themselves up. It unites classic and vintage styled motorcycles from all over the world to raise funds and awareness for prostate cancer research and men's mental health. Now, Darren's goal is $1,000 and the DGR is 19th of May. Of course, we've got a link for you to donate to that in our show notes, but that is not all. our very good friend Jeff, his son is continuing as a third generation in a line of Eagle Scouts. And his Eagle Scout project is combining his love of scouting and of theater. He is going to be refurbishing an unorganized storage loft and adding some much needed safety features to the ropes and travel area over the stage of his school's playhouse. It's safety and organization, Chrissy. Are you paying attention to that? How does that not make you so
I love it. My
Now-
two favorite things.
Exactly. There's a link to Josh's very well produced video, and it contains a Venmo QRR, or you can just Venmo to @Troop123, which comes up as Kimberly Thompson. And you Luddites can even send a check made out to Troop 123, and we will happily get you that address. Link to that video is in our show notes as well. It's $5, $10, $20, whatever you got. One of those two things, both of those two things, but we've seen you do it before. We know you can do it again. And these are both really good efforts from really wonderful people to make a very big difference. So thank you for letting us try and ham more money out of your wallet. All right. Chris has walked away.
He just came downstairs because he was looking for his phone to play the music. And he just made this typing on his like a hand computer type charade game, and he found his phone.
Yeah.
All
he's
Now he's
downstairs.
coming back.
There we go. Hey, despite my own best efforts, somehow I am second in our E1R F1 league, which you
No.
can join
No
right now.
way.
Yeah, go to
I
fantasygp.com.
don't
Links in our
believe
show
you.
notes. 742-595-41.
And if you join now, you might actually beat me because I'm not doing so well. So yes, put my money not in the right place.
I don't know how I'm doing this well at
Not
all.
sure either, but that's great. Good for you.
Chrissy, you and I are having a race to the bottom.
Are we? And I'm legit trying. I didn't try hard enough, I suppose.
I keep forgetting to put my picks in. Like last week with Sprint Race, it was early and I was driving to Cape Cod. Oh, well.
Oh, my excuses.
I like it. Yeah. Anyway, thanks for downloading us. Hope you enjoyed this week's edition of Everyone Racers. Hope you'll join us in the world of driving, racing, and building, because everyone can be a racer, even you, as we proved by all the people who were there this last weekend at Pitt. It was amazing. If you enjoyed the podcast, subscribe. It's free. Then go to iTunes and give us that 5-star rating. Even if you hated us, except for Tim. Everyone loves Tim. 5 stars and tell us how much you like Tim. How about that? Questions, show ideas. Drop us a comment on any of those places that people leave comments on things on the internet. Emails is at everyone.racers@gmail.com. Everywhere else is Everyone Racers. Text mental pictures of your junk, or just tell him you like seeing Swimmy in the background there over his shoulder. 484-243-0455. Guess that's about it. Thanks to everyone. Until
Thanks,
next
Tim.
week. Yeah.
Thank you
Thank
guys.
you, Tim.
Yep,
Keep
much
the lid
appreciated.
closed on the dumpster fire. And unless it's already out, then you can open it back up.